right then, it's the end of the season, isn't it? This is the Richmond Gooners podcast, last match week of the year. We were home to Brighton, but honestly, this is more of a end of season wrap-up show. I am Ryan here with Joey doing a two-man show.
Yep, thank God this bitch is over.
It is over. Shout-outs to Tom on the West Coast, had to watch on his phone in a Scouser bar.
Gooners in Portland.
As many as we can send out there, we're going to send them. So yeah, I mean this really is less about today and more about just kind of year in review. I feel like we've not been with you for a while. That's on me. But
CEO of That's On Me.
CEO of That's On Me / I have 5 minutes to myself a week. So yeah, I mean obviously the good result today. We look good. The first half was just kind of like whatever.
It was eventful, but ultimately unproductive.
Partey finally got his first shot almost on goal in the first half.
Yeah.
Got his second shot actually on goal in the second half.
Yeah.
But Pepe,
it depends on which camp you're in. Does hitting the frame of the goal count as on goal?
I would say yes, especially considering his form of late. I will in Partey terms, yes, that is on goal.
So in my mind, a shot on goal ends in one of three things: a block, a save, or a goal.
I mean, and technically you are correct, but given what Partey's shot situation has been lately,
we're calling it on goal.
Yeah, normally it's 10 rows deep behind the goal. I'm going to call that on goal for him.
It normally would still be in low orbit.
Yeah, it would be. It might have been in the Thames by now. But in any case, Pepe, the star of the show today, I think, gets another brace, two games in a row. Hopefully all
bodes
those
well for next year.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's saying justify his price tag. I feel like he's done that, and he's definitely going to be a part going forward. But today was more about, and this says a lot about us, but it was more about scoreboard watching. Where do we land? What's going on?
Yep.
Our ceiling for the day was 7th. West Ham winning last week put us out of Europa for good.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. And I, coming in, was of the mind that my ideal scenario was Everton 7, us 8th, Tottenham 9th. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the Europa Conference League. It doesn't give us any street cred. It doesn't give us that much money. And it sends, even if it's only our U23s, it sends us to fucking Tallinn on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about that.
Or like to no value to me. No value.
It's not, honestly, if anything, it harms us in recruiting, I feel like. Because even if the senior team is not traveling or playing, like, I don't know, how does that work? Like, do they travel with the team if they're not playing? I feel like they probably do, right?
So he'll name a 18-person squad or however many 20-person squad or whatever,
right?
And I think all those people will travel, but inevitably there are gonna be some.
Yeah, you don't have enough U23s who can do that. Someone's gonna have to go who doesn't need to be there.
There are gonna be senior players that are gonna be traveling, and it's gonna affect them playing in the league in the games that actually matter, because the prize for winning this competition is not even group stage Europa League. It's like play-ins.
Yeah, it's qualification for Europa League.
Come on, dude.
And
I wanted no parts of that.
No, and like, this is selfish of me because I'm tired of drinking on Sunday, but I want Saturday games. I want to be in the normal rhythm of a Premier League season next year. And if that means that we miss out on European competition by way of the third tier European competition, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I truly am.
And so, news, we finished 5 points ahead of where we were last year. Same table position, 8, but 5 points ahead.
Well, and we had the second or third best form since the new year.
Yeah, I want to say third best form since Boxing Day.
Yeah,
which tells you how bad the very beginning of our season was.
Yeah, and
we were third on points since Boxing Day, and we still ended up here.
And I would say
basically went on a blinder since Boxing Day.
We did, but like in the last 2 months, I would call this a disappointing stretch. We had like a good run of the last 4 or 5 games, but there was a point where the teams.
There's a really bad stretch.
Yeah, there was a point where the teams in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now the 7th is anything to be envy, but those teams were all dropping points, and we obliged by doing the same.
We couldn't capitalize.
And so, given that we still had third best form in the league since Boxing Day, I feel like that's a good sign going forward. I think that once the squad gets reshaped a little bit over the summer, that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
We have a good base going forward. There was I was never an Arteta out guy. I will but there was a point where it runs through your mind. But seeing a stat like that, I feel like is whoa, what are you doing? You're stupid for thinking that.
Yeah, and I think that the squad is gonna go through a massive restructuring, like you said. I think we're gonna see ruthlessness from the club that we have not really seen.
Yeah, I mean, starting yesterday with the sacking of Stevie Bull.
With Boldy going in. And listen, this might be a hot take, but I'm 100% okay with that. I think as much as I admired Boldy as a player, I think he was a subpar coach, and I think that bodes well for the amount of ruthlessness we need to show, reshaping our squad from the players on the field all the way through the club,
staff.
Reshaping our squad, some of the staff. Excuse me. And I think that actually bodes well for the ruthlessness. Like, we don't care how long you've been here. We need results at this point.
Yeah.
And we're going to hopefully we turn into a group of people within the club that are concerned with whose number one concern is results.
Yeah.
And the results on the pitch. And I think that is the only way up. We need to reshape the squad. I think Arteta's going to I think this window is going to be one of the most pivotal for Arteta's career as Arsenal manager. And
absolutely.
I think that I think he could take our form since Boxing Day and say, hey, this is what we did since Boxing Day or since the January transfer window. I think he could take our form in there into a meeting with Edu and Vinay and Josh or Stan they're never here, so Josh.
Well, Josh was here today. Josh was here today. I'll give him credit for that. I saw a good tweet where it was like, Gunnersaurus' back, nature is healing, and the response was, that's the only way they could get Josh Kroenke into the stadium.
yeah, exactly. And I think Arteta.
Shout out to Gunner Blog. I think that was Gunner Blog.
Yeah, Gunner Blog, always entertaining Gunner Blog. But I think that I just think it bodes well for us, and I think Arteta can take that form in there and say, hey, listen, in order for us to do more like this and better, I need these players, and we need to really do something. The word on the street and the word on the media is that we're going to do a madness this summer.
Yeah, that's what I've,
that's kind of always the word on the street, but
yeah, but it's got a certain feel to it. It does, because you have all of the anti-Kroenke sentiment, and despite what all of us think of them, and I feel like pretty much every Arsenal fans are on the same page, I think on some level nobody wants to be hated to that degree.
Yeah.
So I think there is some motivation to show, hey, even though I forget what the number was, but like we are far, far, far down the table of money spent from ownership on the team. Like, teams that are far below us in the table have spent far more money than us.
Exactly.
From ownership on the team.
Than our ownership. Yeah.
And I understand it's a business. And to those not watching on News Channel 8, the Wizards game is on behind us.
Yeah, Alex Lynn is at the free throw line. I think that's Alex Lynn at the free throw line, and he just set up. It just barely grazed the net.
Oh, that's not what you want.
That was bad.
That is not what you want.
That was bad.
But no, I feel like there is pressure on the Kroenkes to spend to improve the team, to save some face. Because if they didn't care, they would have taken Daniel Ek's bid.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this in the last podcast, where if it was just about money, it was just about business, they should have taken that bid, because they would have doubled their money.
Yeah.
And gotten out. But I, to my surprise, they seem to want to hang on. I'm not really sure why.
They didn't just reject it, but they
rejected it wholeheartedly.
They gave him some lip.
They gave him some, we don't need your money.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a bitch slap if there was a bitch slap.
But also, how powerful is that statement really when you know that that's a family that their only concern is money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and that's just it. It's like, if we don't need it, we really, really, really don't want you to buy this team.
Yeah.
So, at this point, I feel like we can put that to bed. Like, I don't think Ek has given up yet, but
he has not given up.
He's not given up.
Vieira has come out and said he's not deterred.
No, like Vieira and Bergkamp, and they're all involved in that situation. Wenger has been rumored to be somewhat involved.
Yeah.
And, that's great for the look of it, but ultimately, if they're not interested in selling, they're not interested in selling,
right.
And so we move on from that. But
no, if somebody gave them $10 billion for the club, they would sell.
Yes, of course they would.
Everybody has a number.
Everyone's got a number, but I think that number now is beyond what is reasonably reachable.
Sure.
And we go forward just assuming they're going to be in charge. So they do, I think, they are showing some interest in making us viable again. And so, talking about the Europa Conference League, like we talked about during the game today, like the money involved in that is not relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like there can't be, like it's not like Champions League money. It can't be. Even if there are
Absolutely
broadcast, like, I don't know who the broadcast partners are or maybe, but it's not going to be Champions League money. So like getting in there is not going to get you anything money wise. It's certainly not going to get you anything clout wise.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can come with us and go on a Thursday trip to Georgia. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So at this point, I feel like we are focused on the league, the FA Cup next year, being competitive domestically.
Right.
And we run with that and we qualify for things as we may.
Right. Just want to talk about the top 4 London clubs in the table. Here are their point totals from lowest to highest: 61, 62, 65, 67. From bottom to top, Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham, and Chelsea.
I mean, it was an underwhelming year by many. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And you have Man City running away with the league at 86, which honestly, I mean, it's an impressive total.
Running away with it.
But like that is not a number that would have run away with the league in previous years. So like a lot, there's a lot that can be said about this year where, one of the questions we posed to some of the guys is like, what's all these injuries? Is it just the disruption of routine? I think that has a lot to do with the injuries. It has a lot to do with some might call it just parody of the league, but I feel like it's just been like an overall just malaise over the league because it's been a weird year.
Yep.
And Liverpool, good on them for making that charge at the end. I mean, they went from 6th to 3rd in 3 weeks.
Yep.
So good on them. And
29 and 9.
And like I feel like 2nd or 3rd is where they belong this year anyway. So making it up there, that's where they should be. And with the rash of injuries they suffered. I mean, it's nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, and people look at the season like a disaster for us, but Liverpool finished 3rd with 69 points, and Arsenal finished 8th with 61 points. There was 8 points of difference between 8th and 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very tightly bunched top half of the table.
It really was.
I mean, so much could have turned on all the results today. We can... I feel like by about the 65th minute, most of us were not actually watching the Arsenal game.
Yeah,
we were watching the Tottenham game.
Tottenham Leicester.
And like that game, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but like, you get both your goals on penalties. Maybe you don't deserve to win. I don't know. But I sure would have liked to see Leicester win.
I don't know. I mean, Tottenham committed 2 infractions in the box trying to stop them from scoring.
I mean, yes, they did, but like you would like to see at least some open play.
You would like to see it, but Tottenham, I think they were just gonna keep fouling them in the box, trying to avoid goals.
Just shut it down
until the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they're just gonna try to win. I mean, can you imagine where they would be if Mourinho had actually played Gareth Bale when he brought him back on loan? I mean, look what he did today. He won the game for them.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't want to spend too much time.
I don't want to
them
more than
either.
Yeah, no.
Because I think that, and having St. Tottenham's Day is nice, but ultimately it's something. And maybe this is a.
No, you're right. It's, as you've said, it's a Tottenham mindset.
Yeah, it's a Tottenham mindset. St. Tottenham's Day is something nice to be able to talk shit to Tottenham about, but like at the end of the day, they finished above us, and like I really can't be bothered. But because my thing next year is I don't want to finish above Tottenham. I mean, I do want to finish above Tottenham.
You never enter the year thinking
that's not
that.
like my goal for the year.
No.
I feel like that's Tottenham's goal for the year is, can we finish above Arsenal? No, we want to try to figure out what do we need to do to win the FA Cup? What do we need to do to give ourselves a chance in the league? That's going to be our mindset going into the year. And if we're out of Europe, so we're going to have a supreme focus on every Premier League match week.
Yeah,
I feel so. I'm thinking. A new season is a new season. Anything can happen. We're not even barely 5 years removed from Leicester winning the Premier League.
Right.
Who's to say who's to say an Arsenal team that's down on his luck can't do something in the league next year?
I mean, I don't have us winning the league next year. I do think the top 4 is certainly reasonable.
Yeah.
I think to wrap up this season, I just want to touch on. We talked about this like periodically, but we've allowed the 3rd fewest goals in the entire Premier League, and yes, solving our defensive woes came at the expense of our offense this year, but I feel like working out defensive issues is the more difficult thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you have...
I feel like fixing our attack is going to be easier than fixing the defense.
All you got to do is bring in a midfielder perhaps that can, set
create
up plays
chances.
more.
Yeah.
and a more aggressive-minded striker that won't just dribble around at the edge of the 18 and will just send it in. Like, sorting out defensive issues is...
It's a difficult thing to do.
It's a difficult thing to do, and it requires like extensive squad building, and I feel like we've done that.
Yeah.
And so like to have that as a base, third fewest goals allowed in the league all year behind only City and I believe Chelsea.
Less than 40 goals.
Yeah, I mean 39 goals, like City at 32, Chelsea 36, us 39. If we could have just scored a handful more, and like some of that is just like if dudes would just take shots and like someone is there to knock them in,
yet
we finish a couple spots higher.
Our goals for, I want to say, is second lowest in the top half.
Yeah, it's
Everton on 47, us on 55. Everybody else in the top 10 had more than that.
And if you look at the difference between us and the top, us 55, City at 83. So that's, clearly our offense is the issue, but I feel like that's like with just some offensive-minded guys and some guys who aren't afraid to take risks, like that's how you up your goals for without too much detriment to your goals against. So,
Chelsea, but look at this. Chelsea gave up 36 goals, and we gave up 39, right? We scored 55, and they scored 58. And those two records are so close to each other. And yet
we're 4 spots apart.
4 spots below them.
Which is just a testament to how tight this league was and to how crazy of a year it was. And so... this is not the place that we're accustomed to Arsenal being. There's no question about that. It's not where we belong. It's not where we want to be. It's not where we aspire to be.
Right.
But given all the craziness of this year, all of the transition that we've been in, all of the external factors that have come to bear.
Right.
It could have been a lot. Like, I don't want to sit here and say 8th is a whole lot better than 10th, but it's like, hey, he's 28 until he's 29, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Like, we are in 8th place. We had a chance to finish 7th today, and...
Gareth Bale stole it from us.
Gareth Bale did steal it from us.
Is it 2013? My time machine works.
We were in essence, I don't want to say right there, but we, as much as these are not the results that we're accustomed to or want, I feel like when you look at the season as a whole, we improved.
Yeah.
And so let's take that and talk about next season now. Mm-hmm. It's all in the books. Season's over, 38 games played, on we go. So Ceballos is gone. We know that. Odegaard is questionable. I still think we loan him back for another year. I think Madrid is still awash in midfielders.
Going to take one more season with their aging midfield.
Yeah, they're going to be like,
Modric is 35, I want to say.
But he's still Modric.
Toni Kroos is 32.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of them is like decrepit at this point.
No.
And Odegaard is still going to have a hard time breaking in there for like consistent time.
Right.
And if he is
Toni Kroos is 31.
Okay, so I mean, he's got like 3 years left in him at least, but. Madrid is still awash in midfielders.
Yeah.
And especially if Ceballos comes, they'll probably loan him out again.
Yeah.
But, there's just a lot of dudes there. Yeah. And so, I think he's going to be available for a
Vinicius
loan.
and Mariano and all those hybrid midfielder forward guys. Asensio, Lucas Vasquez. And Lucas Vasquez might be 30 right now.
But even so, Odegaard seems to be happy here. He likes the way that we play here. I think if he's open to it and they still are look, we can't start you more than half the games, I think he's still available on a loan. So him and Smith Rowe are kind of the depth of that position, right? Mm-hmm. And then you look at...
we got nobody.
Well, yes, but my bigger question is with our loanees this year, Arteta said Joe Willock is going to be an Arsenal player next year. So who does he displace? Is that Granit Xhaka's spot to lose?
Here's the thing about Joe Willock. Joe Willock has been having a blinder at Newcastle.
Yeah, 8 goals in 7 games.
He's got
crazy.
That puts him at 8 and 7, right? But Newcastle play a counterattacking style, which is very conducive to Joe Willock's style of play and his skill set. The pace and power and running, late runs into the box sort of thing from midfield. That is classic Joe Willock. That is his skill set. We currently are playing a more slow build-up, possession-based style of football right now. I would love to see that change. I think maybe we will see a tactical change once Arteta gets the players that he wants in. And if we see that change go towards a counterattacking style, I think Joe Willock will come in and be really good for us.
But I feel like
if we don't, then I think if that is not in our plan, then I think we should sell Joe Willock because his value will never be higher than it is right this second.
Because the thing with me is like I feel like counterattacking football is like a bottom half table, stalwart. Like if you are top 6, you are expected to take it to the other team, right? Like I don't know how much of that is just like on perception, but I just don't see us doing that. I don't see us.
I don't know, but
playing Mourinho ball
look at the
and
amount
setting
of
back away for a
counterattacking
counterattack.
goals. Look at the amount of counterattacking goals that Liverpool scores,
I mean,
that City
yes,
scores.
but is that-
I wouldn't call their tactics counterattacking,
Right.
but Liverpool's tactic is a gegenpress tactic, which is kind of like counterattacking, but you're not blocking a shot on goal and then turning into attack.
Yeah.
You're just pressing and you're winning the ball in midfield rather
yeah.
than defense, and then you're winning it with very few people in front of you, very few of your opponents, defenders and men in front of you. I love the counterattacking style of football. I don't necessarily think that that's a thing that I don't think that's a thing that's exclusive to lower teams.
It's not, but they tend to employ it more overtly.
I would say
And
that
also does Arteta want to do that?
because lower half teams tend to try to sit back and soak up pressure.
Right.
The only way to get results from games is if you can counterattack.
Right.
Because if you're playing against a Man City or a Liverpool or a Leicester, those teams are going to come at you. And
But like, shouldn't we aspire to be those teams coming at people? That's that. I feel like I'm not saying like I necessarily believe that, but like I feel like that is the general sentiment. Like we should not be a sit back and counterattack team.
I wish our tactics were more like Liverpool's, where we pressed the opponent's defenders and midfielders hard when they have the ball, win, and then sort of quote unquote counterattack from not so deep. That's what I wish our style was, and that's what I think we might be trying to go towards something similar, maybe not as intense as Klopp's gegenpress, but something somewhat similar to that.
Yeah.
And so, but I just the point I'm trying to make is that I like counterattacking football. That's probably my favorite style of football goal to see is a great team counterattack goal.
Yeah, because it involves a dispossession at some point.
It involves a dispossession.
And then
involves all
everyone
assets
ready
of the
to go
game.
forward,
Yeah.
and they are ready to move. So with that in mind, in midfield, Thomas Partey looked great today.
He looked
He looked
very
great.
good.
He was confident. He took shots that were actually on frame or on frame adjacent.
Boston midfield.
Which is new for any Boston midfield. He always looks better when paired with Xhaka. So
Yes.
that's the thing is if we're looking at a Buendia or some other midfield or attacking mid options.
Well, Buendia would be, I think, in lieu of Odegaard.
Yeah.
I think that because Buendia that is what he does. And when Norwich was up in the Premier League a couple years ago, he led the entire league in chances created. But he plays for Norwich and he's surrounded by shit players.
Well, that's the other thing. Norwich is back up this year.
They're back up. But if we bought Buendia and he's surrounded by Lacazette and Saka and Pepe and players of that quality, that chances created stat is going to turn into an assist stat.
Yeah.
And so, if he creates those same chances with better players around him, you got to think that he's going to have a real impact. I'm a huge fan of this guy. And I've been saying it since they were in the league before. Like, this guy's actually really good. Norwich actually has some really good players. I like him. I like Cantwell, the young Brit. I like the right back, Aarons.
Yeah.
I like Aarons. They got some good players over there.
And he's been a very already recently he's been rumored as a target, but they're back up. So what's the impetus for them to sell?
Right. And they've just been given. They will have just gotten a bank deposit probably by the time we wake up tomorrow for making the Premier League next year. You know what I mean?
It's like that might be questionable. So,
but again, money talks.
I mean, money talks.
Even though they're in the league, a club like Norwich, if we say, "Hey, listen, $35 million," they might say, "That's a lot of money."
Now, is Aouar still out there? Is that still a thing?
He's still out there, and he's available this summer, I think, for $30 million. That's what I'm hearing.
And
I almost think you go out and get him because I think that he is a player that I think is a more of a complete sort of midfield guy, And if we get rid of Granit Xhaka, I think a player like Aouar could replace him in that deep role.
And
beside Partey, he's got a similar passing range.
Yeah. And if you sell Eddie Nketiah for 2025, I mean that nearly
could
covers
be
that.
Like for like, yeah, or not like for like, but that could be like cash and cash out.
Cash and cash, yeah. And it's just like, that seems like that would be an upgrade to me. And I know that was last window's transfer rumor, but like he's still there, and if he's still available, because that's just it. It's just like like we said, our defense is pretty much settled. Like Saliba, it sounds like it's coming back into the fold, which I'm very excited about.
I am super excited about that. David Luiz is going,
and which let's give David Luiz a moment. Like he is an all around good dude.
Yeah,
and he performed actually very well for us this year.
He did. Last year was iffy. This year I thought he performed really. He made some crucial plays for us in some games. And everyone loves this guy, and when you see footage of him around London Colney and around, it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like just a positive attitude sort of dude. And for all his antics that we've seen now and in the past on the field, like he's a leader. He's a positive influence, especially on younger players. He is a direct reason why I think the Brazilian Gabriels that we have, Martinelli and center back Gabriel,
unpronounceable,
Magalhaes or however you pronounce that. He is like a direct reason that they've settled in so well.
Yeah,
and that to me is invaluable. So I definitely thank him for that, because those two guys are guys that I want to be a part of our club for the next 15 years.
Yeah,
till they're 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the Saliba odyssey has been weird. It's been kind of unknowable. It's just like, what is going on there? But it's
taking videos of his friends.
This is, we're not doing that. I mean, like, he's been an enigma, but you go out and buy a guy like that, and like you just see him walking into train, and he's so big, and it's like we just don't have enough guys that take up space like that.
Shit houses like that,
right? And it's just like he's got to be coming back into the fold. So like you have to sit there. Coming into next year, I have a hard time saying our defense is not going to be as good this year as it was, or next year as it was.
I think it might be better.
It might even be better. So it really is just a matter of like, how do we score more?
Yeah. So going off of that subject, let's talk about what we need, okay? Let's forget for a moment that William Saliba might come in, and let's forget for a moment. Let's assume that Ceballos is gone, as we know he is, and let's assume that we will not have Odegaard next year, okay? So, in my opinion, the things that we need also, let's assume like Matt Ryan. Let's assume he goes back to Brighton. Let's assume our squad is what we have on our books.
I think
as of 1 June. As of 1 July 2021.
Right.
So that could be the case. We need a backup quality goalkeeper. If that's Matt Ryan, I think Matt Ryan is actually an above backup quality goalkeeper.
I don't think he's first team top 6 Premier League,
but he's not like backup everywhere in the Premier League.
He could start for Newcastle somewhere, but I feel like he might stay.
Okay, so backup quality goalkeeper, that might be Matt Ryan. We need a backup quality left back. We probably need a starting quality right-footed, right-sided center back.
Yeah,
maybe that's Saliba. Okay, we need probably a starting quality right back.
Right.
We need a starting quality deep lying midfield player. We need a starting quality attacking midfield player, and we probably need a starting quality striker.
Really?
I think wing wise, I think we're pretty good.
Oh well, yeah.
Pepe,
on the wing, yes.
Saka, ESR. We have a number of players.
Martinelli.
We have a number of players that can play in those positions. But you got to think that.
I think
maybe Lacazette. I think Aubameyang is staying, but you got to think maybe Lacazette. I think is the one that it's 50-50. If you ask any Arsenal fan, 50% of them believe he will leave. 50% of us believe he will stay. I think Nketiah is gone.
Eddie's going to be sold. I think Reece Nelson might get sold.
I think Reece Nelson might get sold. I think if Eddie goes, then we bring a fallen Balogun into the fold and have him making the matchday squad every week.
Yeah, I don't think
give him a better squad number.
Yeah, I don't think he's starting quality yet, but he's definitely squad guy.
Yeah, he's definitely squad. Definitely could take over Eddie. I think he could be better than Eddie as far as productivity is concerned, because you can never fault Eddie for what he brings you effort-wise. Right? And as I always say, you know my philosophy. There's effort players, there's talent players, and then there's the Kevin De Bruyne's of the world.
The rare both.
That are the rare both, yeah. Right. So, I say that we need a starting quality striker because I think I'm of the camp that I think Lacazette may leave. Although a couple days ago, apparently he asked for the number 10 squad number for the upcoming season.
I saw that, yeah. I was like,
that's a weird one for me, because I think that if we have a player wear the shirt number 10 next year, I think it's either ESR or a player that's not signed to our squad yet.
Yeah.
Like a Buendia, or maybe if Odegaard comes back, maybe he moves to that number.
Yeah.
Or if we somehow manage to do a madness to get him on a permanent, we got to give him that number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see ESR getting it, absolutely.
Sure. I mean, just he is the effort and skill guy.
Yeah, he's the.
He's got to develop a little bit more.
But he's gonna be. He is that
guy. You can see it.
We need to give Martinelli a better squad number.
Yeah,
as well.
35 does not.
35. I don't know. Maybe he's a big Kevin Durant fan. I don't know. I think that. So here's kind of where I see it going. So Nketiah is wearing number 30, right?
Right.
David Luiz wears number 23. Currently, so there's gonna be some squad number kind of rejiggering,
because 8's gonna be available.
8's gonna be available. Also, Socrates is left, but we couldn't reassign his number during the season.
Right.
So I think Partey will move from 18 to 5.
Sure.
Because we know he likes that number. And so then I think maybe a Martinelli or somebody like that gets the 18, because that's kind of a prime shirt number. The number 8's going to be available. The number 10 is going to be available. God willing, the number 12 will be available. 12 will be available, and who knows what we're going to do with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. 15 might be available. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a question. Because talking about right backs, I mean,
20 will be available.
Yeah.
Mustafi's gone.
I'm not sold on Ainsley.
Oh, good thing Tom's not here.
No. And again, shout out to Tom taking in the 4 Bs in Portland, as he told us. But yeah, it just.
Guess what the Bs are?
Apparently, we guessed wrong.
Put it in the comments.
We guessed wrong. One of them was buttholes, but apparently it's not. Like I like Ainsley as a guy and as a player and as an athlete, but it's just to your point. Like,
does he have a fit? Is
he really a right back? Yeah. I don't know.
He's not. That's not his natural position.
And midfield is probably not where he's going to break in. Mm-hmm. So.
Not with a guy like Thomas Partey in front of him.
No.
Not with Ainsley is he's a good car. He's a Toyota Camry. He's dependable. But Thomas Partey for me is a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so, I feel like he probably stays because he hasn't done anything, I don't know that we get enough for him to sell him.
Yeah, and also he hasn't been so trash that it's like, oh, we got to get rid of him.
No.
It's
not really. It's not like, oh my God, get this guy out of here. But also, it's not like Joe Willock, where his price will never be higher either.
Yeah.
So that Willock, I can see going either way.
Right.
Ainsley, he might just be a squad guy, and if I think you're right. I think we need a starting caliber right back. I don't know who that is. I don't know where they're coming from.
Aarons, Lamptey, Ashraf Hakimi. I've heard floating around, but why would he leave? Didn't they just win the league?
Yeah. I mean that seems odd to come to a team that's not even in Europe. So. But I feel like Hector's probably gone.
I think so too.
At this point,
with PSG coming, the money, Paris. If you're going to leave London, it needs to be for a city like Paris.
Especially for a fashionable dude like him,
right? For a guy that I think culturally will really enjoy himself over there.
Yeah,
and I honestly wouldn't begrudge him the move.
No, and if it's obvious that he's not in our plans going forward, then go get you some.
Let him get a move that
that suits him.
That's good for him.
But we at that point we would absolutely. Chambers Chambers has performed really well, and he's looked good out there. But I don't know if he's a league-winning starting right back.
Right, and we have Cedric, who is serviceable. He's also serviceable left back. He's just not a natural left back. I would be fine with him being the backup right back. Chambers is another guy we need to make a decision on going forward. He has done, I think, really well.
I think he has too.
At right back.
Yeah.
When he's played right back for us.
Yeah, I think Chambers stays, Hector goes, Saliba comes in, David Luiz obviously gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and we just need one more probably right back kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know?
And we definitely need a backup left back. We have one senior left back.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think after Tierney, the drop-off is immense.
Yeah, I think that could be Ryan Bertrand, and I really like that purchase. I go on Twitter, and I see these
he's free.
These fucking,
just bring him in.
Or, yeah, free, yeah. I see these fucking cancerous comments that are like, oh, getting players like Ryan Bertrand is why we're in the position we're in now. Like, we're not getting him to start.
We're getting him as a backup.
Like, we're getting him as a backup. We got David Luiz and Willian with an eye for them starting and playing lots and lots of minutes.
And let's on that subject, Willian getting interest. Like, let's hype that shit up.
Hype it up.
Like,
Inter Miami, don't you want Willian?
Yeah. I bet you do. It's gonna look good. I will bring out the fucking wavy arm used car salesman guy to get Willian to sell to Miami. Like, whatever you will take. Like, I don't even care if we got to eat like 2/3 his salary.
Yeah.
Like, just get him out of here.
I wasn't laughing at you. Shaq is wearing fuzzy slippers on the NBA on TNT set.
Dude, the bit where like Chuck had like a hamstring cramp and Shaq goes over there to massage it.
Yeah.
And like Ernie goes like, oh man, I was like, watch out, you're gonna see. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, man. Like he was on somebody's podcast. He's like, man, Chuck doesn't wear no drawers, so all I got was slacks and ass meat.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, Willian, like he came on later in the season. He acquitted himself well after 20 weeks of not doing so. You know, I don't get it. Like, he went from arguably Chelsea's best player to
literally the year before we signed him.
A mess.
Yeah.
And, you know, it happened, whatever. But, like, at this point, he can't. 2 more years, no. Like, no. Like, we I don't care if we take a loss. I don't care if we eat his salary. Speaking of eating salary, somebody's salary is coming off the books this summer with a certain umlaut on his O name.
Oh.
So, like, that's money that is back in our pocket, right?
Yep.
So, you know.
And Kolasinac, apparently Schalke
wants to keep Kola. Yeah. So, cool. Like, between, like.
Because he was on decent wages, too, because we bought him for free, or we got him for free as well.
Right.
On a Bosman from Schalke.
Yeah. But, you know, like, we talk about, and I know I'm all over the place right now. The transitions are not happening.
No, it's fine. Me too.
But, like, with what we need and the amount of money that's coming off the books, I feel like even without European football, we have the coffers to get it. Mm-hmm. The question is, do we have the clout to get the guys we want without European football?
You know, I don't know. I think we do.
I mean, we're still
a big club.
We're still the top. We're still a Big Six club, whether we finish there or not.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think that's why there are people that would rather go to Arsenal than Leicester, even though Leicester have a better side at the moment. I think Arsenal still, the pull of Arsenal, the history of our club, the allure of London.
And living in London, yeah.
You know, I definitely think that there are players, and honestly, money talks. If I say it all the time, and Tom Rosenhammer says it all the time. N'Golo Kante went to a Chelsea team that was like, that had finished like 10th place or something the year before.
Yeah.
No, they had no European football. They had nothing, but he still win. Money talks.
Yeah.
And look at the difference that he's made since then.
Oh,
He's won, 3 titles since he came over?
Yeah, so.
Or at least 2, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if the Cronkies are serious about throwing some money at things this summer, who knows? Mm-hmm. You know, who knows?
Who could it possibly be is my question. Who could it possibly be? So they're like, you know, we're gonna do something impressive or
who would we break
do
the bank
something
for?
Insane this summer. You know,
I mean, the thing is, I don't know that we need,
because it doesn't necessarily have to be insane.
No, like I don't think like an insane move is the move for us.
Yeah, if we get, you know, Buendia and Auhar
and keep Odegaard
and Bissouma.
Yeah, Bissouma, yeah.
That's pretty good for me.
Yeah, or just
because defense, we could solve, because we have those problems I mentioned in defense. We could solve those with a free Ryan Bertrand purchase, William Saliba coming back into the fold,
right.
And then the only thing we're actually spending money on is Ryan Bertrand takes care of that.
Yeah.
Is a right back, a starting quality right back if Hector goes, which I think he will. So that could be fixed with very little outlay. It's 3 issues, but that can be fixed with very little like transfer fee outlay, right?
Yeah.
So if that sort of thing happens, let's say we sign Aarons from Norwich, and let's say we sign Odegaard on a permanent, and then Yves Bissouma. I think that's a really good start.
That's a good window.
That's a really good start. To really getting our team back to where it needs to be. Yeah. And then we see how we sell Eddie, we bring Balogun into the fold. Martinelli gets more minutes at one of the 5 positions he can play.
I mean, we've seen that he does not belong up top. He needs to be a wing guy, I think.
You think so?
I think so.
I
yes.
think the eventual view is to have him be a center forward.
I don't know. It looks so awkward the last couple of times we did it. I feel like he's more of a wing guy.
If he's going to be a center forward, we need to have a slight tactical change.
Yeah.
So we do those things and we see how the first half of the season goes as far as like our attack, and then in January, if we need to go get Edouard from Celtic, we make that something like that happen, or who is out there striker wise that we can get that's of elite quality.
See, I don't think we can get
anybody young and really promising. I don't think we can get Erling Haaland. I don't think we can get Kylian Mbappe. We don't have access to these players.
And I don't honestly think we have access to Edouard because Celtic is still pissed about fucking Tierney. There's no way.
I don't understand why they did the deal and then were pissed.
But still, whether you understand it or not, I think they're pissed. So, no, clearly we're not getting any Haaland is. I think Haaland stays at Dortmund. Honestly,
you do?
Yeah,
I think he ends up at a Real Madrid or something like that.
Where are the Spanish clubs finding all this money that everyone's talking about? They are all broke.
Well, Real Madrid is backed by the Spanish government.
Yes, but even that does not have endless coffers.
It's not endless, but it's.
I don't know. You're probably right.
There's no end to their ends.
They're going to figure out a way, but it's just like I was about to look at these Spanish teams.
They'll figure out a way. They'll get some loans.
How Barca's talking about buying people? It's like, motherfucker, y'all are in bankruptcy.
Yeah, see, now they don't have the same backing. So I don't know where they're going to get. They're going to have to sell folks. And if they do, there might be an opportunity for Arsenal in there.
Who do you want off of Barca?
Who do I want off of Barca?
Okay, we're not getting Leo Messi, all right? Calm
it's
down.
Not even Messi. It's Ansu Fati.
Oh, yeah?
We ain't getting him either.
No.
But Ousmane Dembele?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think he would be almost a better fit at Arsenal maybe than Barcelona. The quality is still there.
Yeah.
So they did that swap deal with Arthur and Miralem Pjanic. If we're talking about center backs, I've been a long admirer of Samuel Umtiti, but we don't need him because he's essentially the same player as Gabriel.
Yeah,
he's the same profile, left-footed, left-sided.
Yeah, he was in that window when it could have been either one of them, and we got Gabriel, and that was that.
Yeah. Sergino Dest. I would love it if Sergino Dest was the first American to play for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Or not to actually. He wouldn't be the first American to play for Arsenal. But anyway, let me look up their team because there's got to be somebody in the Barcelona squad. In the midfield, I'm specifically looking at.
But I mean, that's the thing is I think you're right. I think between Barca and Real, both even if they don't have the money, they're going to act like they have the money.
Yeah, they're gonna try to swing their dick around like that.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't get it.
How are you doing this?
Where is this coming from? Everyone knows you don't have the money, and yet that allure is there. And
Coutinho.
I don't know about that.
And Ansu Fati is who I really want.
Yeah,
they still have Frankie De Jong. I think they're trying to build their team around him. So I don't. see them getting rid of them. I see them getting rid of Ousmane Dembele. I honestly see them getting rid of Griezmann.
Dembele's then Griezmann was linked with PSG, right?
Yeah.
But he said, "No, I don't want to play there."
I mean, I think Barcelona might be looking to get rid of him.
I don't think he comes to us though. Like that.
Him, Coutinho, because Coutinho almost materialized this year.
Yeah,
for
I,
us.
I don't know. Like it feels like that's not.
I mean, he plays the position. We know he can play in the league.
But it's been a couple of years.
Just because Liverpool did a addition by subtraction thing with him doesn't mean he wouldn't be successful at another Premier League club.
I mean, no, but it's been a couple of years, and it's just like
Liverpool transitioned to a style where they don't employ a number 10.
I mean, yes, but
they employ a deep lying striker, like almost a false 9, and they employ 3 8s, and that together means they don't really need a 10.
But like the number 10,
or they play
by and large, has
either
been
3
dying.
8s or 2 8s and a 6. That's how they do it. Because Fabinho, I think, is a true 6, and then any number of Wijnaldum or Naby Keita or Jordan Henderson or any of those guys, Thiago, all those guys are 8s.
Yeah,
right?
But like the number 10 by and large has been devalued, so
True.
I don't know if like going all out because like, I mean whether Barca wants to move him or not.
You think his cost is a concern?
Even if they do, it's not like nothing Barca's going to do is going to be for cheap because they're so fucking broke. So you're going to have to pay a premium, I think, to get anybody off of them.
I don't know. It's like, okay, you guys can stay broke, or you guys can take this $50 million for Coutinho.
Yeah, but they're still Barca. They're still Barca.
I mean, we should go for him at that price. And if we would need to allow Barcelona the chance to be stupid for themselves.
So what do we buy him for?
I think like 50 or 60 million.
Where that would be like 75% of our transfer budget right there.
I know, but I also think we buy Odegaard for that price. And
so
it's like you could get proven quality for that because Coutinho is better than Odegaard. But
Yeah.
Odegaard has more time left in his career.
Well, and Odegaard, I think, is still going to be. I still think we loan him back for another year.
Okay.
I think Real is not ready to
There's
sell
a
him yet.
6-year difference between those two because Odegaard is, I think, 22.
No, he's
Coutinho's
super
28.
Yeah. But like, I don't think Real is ready to sell him yet. But I also don't think they're ready to start him yet. So I think he's still available on loan, and we're going to get that for a more affordable price, which leaves us more money to address the right back situation. I think that's the more sensible move overall. Personally,
Or loaning Odegaard again?
Yeah, loaning Odegaard back and using the money that you didn't spend on a permanent transfer to figure out something else in the short term.
Yeah, my problem is like if we develop a good squad with Odegaard in the squad, like
And then he goes.
yeah.
But
when Liverpool had their turnaround, they did very few loans.
Right, but
they got their players, and then they were like, "These are our players. Let's go forward with these guys, and let's add to it when we need to."
I feel like no matter what, Real's not ready to sell Odegaard. But if we go another year and then like they evaluate where they're at, we see where we're at. I think, and if we make Champions League after next season, we're in a better position to buy him long term if we want to go that way than we are going to be now.
I mean, sure. And let's talk about Real Madrid and their squad, and because okay, so they have 2 players that are aging. They have Modric, who is I want to say 35.
36.
Let me double check. He's 35.
Okay.
Be 36 in September, right?
35 till it's 36.
35 till he's 36. That's how it works. And they have Toni Kroos, and that's their starting advanced midfielders. They have Casemiro, who is still young, in his 20s, right? So Casemiro's 29, to be fair.
Even so.
But even so, that's not because they have players coming up that will be in that role. So other midfielders they have, they have these like hybrid midfielder forwards like Marco Asensio and Lucas Vasquez, Vinicius, Mariano Diaz. Now they also have a player called Federico Valverde, and he's really good, really young. I think he might be, and he's already like a massive part of the setup now.
Like 20, 21, something like that.
Yeah, let me double check, because this player is really good. He's 22. So he's the same. He's
same age as Odegaard?
Uruguayan. He's same age as Odegaard.
Yeah.
So I think he might be a guy that steps up in that spot. Let's not forget about Isco.
Yeah,
Isco's a player that I would take at our club right this second.
Yeah.
I rate Isco very highly. Yeah, he's 29. He just turned 29 though. 29 till he's 30. That's how it works. But I rate Isco incredibly highly. And I would think, because Isco has stuck around that club for so long, I would think that when, for instance, when Modric starts getting aged out of the team, it'll be Isco that is the number one guy in that spot. Because Isco can also play 5 positions.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that Isco, Fede Valverde, these guys are kind of blocking Odegaard's path into being a day-in, day-out starter at Real Madrid. So when people are like, oh, he's going to go back, I think we have more of a chance to get him on a permanent right now than maybe people realize.
Well,
that's just me. That's just my opinion.
I don't think it because of him. I think it because of them. Mm-hmm. I think they're for whatever reason.
You think they like to hoard midfielders?
No, they're horny for midfielders. Yeah. They're like, look, we need all of the midfielders. Them, Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So like it's I think Odegaard probably wants to stay.
And then Ceballos will be back as well.
Right.
Be in that setup.
I mean, but he's gonna go back out on loan though. I mean,
I think he's gonna end up being a permanent buy for fucking Real Betis.
Yeah.
You watch.
He's gonna get sold to like
Grenada
a lower tier
or something.
Yeah, lower tier Spanish team. Yeah. But no, that's it. Like Real doesn't know when to quit with midfielders, and so like whether it makes sense to sell a guy on a permanent or not, they don't want to do it because for whatever reason they think they got to have them all.
Yeah,
it's like Pokemon up in here. Collect them all.
Gotta catch them all, midfielders.
Right. Yeah, and so like that's why like I mean. I think I would be for a permanent transfer for Odegaard, but I just don't see it out there.
100%.
Yeah, but I don't see them offering it or being open to it. So I think a loan makes the most sense. We save a little money. We spend that on defense this year, see where that gets us. And if we have Champions League money come 2022, we see if we can buy him on permanent then.
See, okay, so I disagree with that because I think the smartest move would be if we were to somehow negotiate a purchase for him. Because I think, because of what we discussed earlier, with where our defense has gone since last year, I think the number one pressing concern for us is a chance-creating creative midfielder.
Well, yes.
So I think that's the number one concern for us, and I want it addressed. I don't want it addressed with a loan. I want it addressed with a permanent purchase.
Well, but
a permanent transfer. So I see what you're saying. I think maybe you're misspeaking. I think not necessarily think that's the smartest thing to do, but that you think that is what will ultimately happen.
Yes.
So I think you might be right, but I think the smartest thing would be to really push hard for a purchase now. If Odegaard is our guy, and if we want him, push hard for a purchase now, and then because we will have the money to purchase him. And then purchase, if Bellerin goes to PSG, we could turn around and use that money that we get for him to buy his replacement.
But what if
and we might, because PSG have money and they'll offer a premium sum for him, we might turn around and get somebody that's maybe better.
But what if Real is like loan or nothing? You take the loan, right? If they say we are not selling him,
honestly, it depends.
Do you loan him back?
Honestly,
I think we do.
Honestly, it depends. I think probably, but if they say no loan, and meanwhile we're working on a behind-the-scenes deal for Buendia, I say we go all in on something like that. Buy him for $30 million, and then if Hector goes to PSG, take that, turn him around, buy Max Aarons or whoever, and then you know what I mean. Then we're looking at, okay, are we selling Willock? Are we selling Nketiah? We take that money and then we kind of pepper in what we need. We get Bertrand on a free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love Odegaard and I want him to come back.
Yeah.
But I care more about the future beyond next season to want that as the best possible, or to think that that's the best possible thing for us, I guess.
I'm not sitting here saying that is the best possible deal. I'm more of the approach like we need to sort out next year. We need to not be where we are this year, next year.
Yeah.
And looking beyond that now seems aggressive to me.
Okay.
Like I want to make sure that next year we are in Europe, not this third tier Europe bullshit. Honestly, I want Champions League next year. Like top 4 should be our aspiration.
I agree. I think because I rate Buendia and Odegaard, I rate similarly.
But is it that's the other thing is like with
and
Norwich
Buendia,
coming up,
we know that he can play at a high level in the Premier League, as far as, because in my opinion, every position on the field has a primary responsibility, and in that position, your primary responsibility is chance creation.
Right, but ultimately,
and we know that he can play in this league with players like Kevin De Bruyne and others, and be the very best at that.
But
we know that.
But they're coming back up, and his availability is now in question.
Maybe it is,
right?
And that's a good point, I think.
And so, like, personally, like, if it was Buendia on a permanent or Odegaard on a loan, yes,
it's
Buendia,
it's
of
Buendia.
course.
As much as we love Odegaard, and he's done nothing for us to be like, fuck him, you know what I mean? He's come in and done well.
No, of course.
And I want to keep him. I want to buy him because of his upside, the upside and his potential.
But if
the choice is Odegaard on a loan, and we'll definitely take him back, we being Madrid, or Buendia on a permanent right now, I take Buendia.
Sure, I would too. I question whether his availability is going to be
whether
real.
that situation would even arise.
Because now all of a sudden they're up, and like if they sell him, they're going straight the hell back down, most likely.
Or they take the money and invest. And again, I think they have, they have Cantwell who can do that, who can play that position, and I think be really good at it as well. And Norwich have always had some spunk about them, and generally they come up, and a lot of times they last more than a year. This last time, I don't think they did.
No.
And honestly, I think they have like the record for most ups and downs. Ups and downs. But I think they can come up and stay, because I think there's some teams that are up right now that got real lucky this year.
I think they can, and you're right. But also, like, there's not a large track record of teams coming up and selling their best player at the same time.
Sure.
It doesn't happen very often, because like it's the opposite. If you go down and you sell your best player, like Wolves are gonna get gutted.
Yeah.
But, like, with Norwich coming up, I mean, I think they still want to contend. I think they want to stay up. I think they really want to stay up after, as you say, after going right back down last time they were up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's out there. So it's going to be a very interesting window.
Again, money talks. I think
it does.
If the money is there, they have no choice. And I think that's what we would have to offer anyway. Whether they were going down or going up, I think the money that we would have had to offer anyway is probably enough money for them to be like, shit, we want the money,
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting conundrum.
No, it is. It's going to be a very interesting window. I mean, I feel like we have the bones of a top 4 contending team.
We do.
When you
look at us since Christmas.
When you rattled off the list of stuff we need, I was like, my God, that's a lot of shit. But you're not wrong. We need those things.
And to that point, I did rattle off a lot of things, but a lot of those things can be solved with little to no transfer outlay.
Right.
Transfer fee outlay, like Bertrand.
And also
Saliba.
Right.
Et cetera.
Bring him back in. But those things are things to really, really contend. You know, like we can top 4 contend without half of that stuff.
Right.
Because as we've talked about, our second half form was extremely good.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it at times because the window was left open for us to jump teams. We just chose not to.
Yeah.
But still, when you look at the second half as a whole, we performed really well. And so I think it's an endorsement of Arteta. I think, there was that like 3-week period where everyone was like, I don't know if he doesn't win this game in Europa. Is he in? Is he out? I'm glad it went to the way that he's in, because overall the product has been better.
Yeah,
I think.
And to be fair, when I rattled off that list, I didn't do it in I did it in the
There's
order.
no particular
I did
order,
it in the order of like from goalkeeper to attack,
back to front.
The most important thing on that list is the midfielder, is the attacking midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be clear,
and so because as we discussed, like our defense is more or less sorted. And you bring Saliba in, it makes it even more so.
Yeah,
we just need.
And Alba's not going to slump for 2 straight seasons. I think he's going to come back. Next year, because physically he shows no signs of decline.
No, physically. And I think like strikers more than a lot of guys are probably. It's like they remind me of I just belched and hit the button too late. They remind me of baseball players, and that they're the creatures of routine, right? And like having this weird year of Thursday
really
games and just off time and all the personal shit he had to deal with.
Yeah, like, malaria, his mom,
his mom, the whole thing. Yeah. Like it was a lost year for him.
Yeah.
It was so shortly removed from being a Golden Boot winner.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's gone anywhere.
Yeah.
So we get our stuff sorted out at midfield. We get him the ball in better positions. He has like a more consistent year. I think he returns to form. I don't think we would have signed him if we didn't think that was going to happen.
Correct.
So, I see us scoring more next year. I don't see our defense falling apart.
Right.
I think we are moving in generally the right direction.
Absolutely.
That's about as much as we can
fit in
this hour of our lives. But yeah, it's been a interesting 2020-21 season. The world is opening up. We are opening back up. We hope that next year we'll see more of you guys out here with us at Gus's Bar and Grill. Sorry, I forgot to shout them out at the top, but
shout out Gus's.
Shout out Gus's. So yeah, this is the Richmond Gooners podcast. I am Ryan. That is Joey.
He needs some milk.
Yeah,
we out.
We are out. Catch you next season.